Okay. I think we're live. We're live on Pan African Daily. For those of you that are Bloodline is saying we're already waiting. We've been waiting for Professor Bayyinah for long. So thank you, Bloodline Elite. As you're already one of the first people in the chat, please just make sure that you begin to invite your brothers and sisters. Tell them we are live and we're ready to go. We're ready to go. Professor Bayyinah is already here, beautifully seated. I just wish, I mean, it's like the next applications that we want to start seeing these mobiles doing is just to connect. Like I just send my hand down, Mama Bello, and we do the high five thing, like on the African streets.
That's right.
We do the mbolo thing, and just hug each other and scream. And so, yes, I really look forward to such applications. So, yeah. So let's just welcome the people on the show and let them know we're live now. You are watching the Pan African Daily TV with Dr. Susan Tatah. The Africa we want: unity, consciousness, our culture, our spirituality, our history. One Africa for Africans worldwide. Motherland's calling its diaspora home. Join my voice. Join my team. Join my campaign. Campaign 21 hashtag 1 million subscribers on the Pan African Daily TV YouTube. Be a volunteer. Apply now. Be the new Africa. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Campaign 21 hashtag is still going on. And those of you that are just joining, make sure you click. And please, thank you, NS Paka, sorry, Akiwa. Yeah, Mbolo. And I greet you. I want to really know where you're watching from, please. I mean, like which platform? YouTube, Facebook, because we're really doing a lot of research on our platforms that have been disabled, and most of our followers cannot join us. So we want to actually know if you're watching, just let us know which platforms you're watching us from. Are you watching us from Pan African Daily TV YouTube page or on the Facebook page? Those are the two pages that we're connected on. And then of course, my account, and just a signal to say, yes, I'm watching you from YouTube. Bloodline say he's watching from YouTube. Thank you. Because Professor Bayyinah, as you can see, we have 100,000 subscribers. But from the day we hit that subscribers, we never had the disabled. The functions were disabled. Like before, you cannot imagine, like we're going to have a heated conversation like this, and before you see at the end of the week, maybe it's just gonna be 1K or 2K 3K people that have watched it with 100,000 subscribers. And we know that more than 500, more than 100,000 watch every conversations that we produce, but the algorithm or this platforms would just like kind of silence it. Like now we just put on a silent mode, like don't even pay attention, nobody's watching, it's just a couple of people. So it's really crazy. But we tap our strength from you, Professor Bayyinah. That's why I'm speaking and I actually talking about these things, because if you were not, your vision could not be piped down since 50, 60 years that you've been on. I don't think it's little tricks of silencing people's voices and faces and the community that is going to work. So welcome to the show, Professor Bayyinah. And I just love to have you here. Go ahead, Mom.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Queen Dr. Susan Tatah. Thank you. Actually, on the subject all this week, and we had a very weird case on Desaline's birthday. We had over 500 people registered. And then on the day, nobody could get in. And we had maybe 40 or 50 people. And we've been seeing this and talking to other friends. A lot of others are getting the same thing. So, bottom line, I say it's our fault. We do not have our own platform. That's what we have
Yes.
to go for.
Yes.
They make the rules every day, they change their rules every time they like, they close us out whenever they want. We know Professor Smalls has gone to it. Prophet Joshua is a pro at getting everything pulled down and everything. So we need our own. That's all we have to do. Create our own platform. That's the only way we must deal with this. So
Mhm.
thank you very much for inviting me. We are planning our continuing celebration of the 265th year strong year for Jean-Jacques Dessalines, General Jean-Jacques Dessalines, who rose from 30 plus years of slavery to become a maroon, to become an officer of the army, to become the general of the army, to replace Toussaint Louverture after he was kidnapped by the French army, and become the liberator of Haiti, the founder of the empire of Haiti, empire of freedom, and Emperor Jacques. That's the man that we're celebrating, and we will continue to celebrate him no matter who ups- is upset, is upset, or try to put obstacles in our road. We will do just that. So, this second part of the celebration, because he had asked us this year, he wanted to gift to those who are always celebrating him. So we created a raffle. A number of people gave us books. Dr. Nobles gave us book. Dr. Maat Kilimanjaro gave us book. Edwidge Dantica offered us books. We received paintings from Dr. Yahaya Bello, from Philippe Doda. We received a number of things from various people. And we are going to we're planning the next on November 17th, we will be giving away everything that we have received because we received it, so it will go away. See, we're doing the chain. We get it, we give it, and maybe the person who gets it will give it also. Oh, we have dolls. We have beautiful dolls given by Dr. Charlene Desir. She sent us beautiful black dolls representing various female personalities of Haiti's history. We have
Exactly.
Lieutenant Sanit Belair in Dor, we have Empress Felicite, and we have Queen Marie Louise. So it will be a very interesting program on November 17th. And my co host will be,
Me.
yes, Dr. Susan Tata will be with me to do this program, this very special program, this special giving and sharing program. It's so important for us to understand that the first principle in life is sharing.
Yes.
If we don't share, we don't live. We can become some kind of monster entity, a non-human thing who goes out and steal, kidnap, torture, take from others, and want to give nothing. But if you are a human being, then that's how you live. You take and you give. So sharing is the number one principle of life. Everything that is alive shares. We don't see the rain when the rain is going up, but when it starts to give us what it has produced, when it pours down on us, it's good for the vegetation, it's good for humans, it's good for everything. It cleans spirits, it does so many wonderful things. The sun shares with us. fire shares with us. You could take iron and turn it into fork and spoon and whatever you need with the help of fire. So all the elements are living existences, and every living being shares. We partake of life. Life is beautiful when we all know how to share, and no one is trying to take what does not belong to it. So that's what we'll be doing on November 17th. We'll be celebrating a man who taught us it doesn't matter that you don't have the weapons of others. They will have whatever weapons they have, but you have your weapon, and you need to know yourself so you can figure out your weapon. And once you have your weapon, you don't need to go on uh, Facebook or whatever and say, "Oh, here's my weapon." Here's... No, 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 no. Keep it to yourself, because we are being warred upon. So whenever they come, let them discover your weapon. Don't advertise your weapon.
Whew. Sharing. And 17th, I am so honored to be a part of that giving, that sharing the gift from our great emperors in that kingdom out there. And honestly, I might not be able to trick it out, but to be honest, the first gift that I think I would share to the continent has to go to South Africa and to the organization and the one replica that I think has the characteristics of his emperor and the name of Honorable Julius Malema.
Oh, please.
Professor
Don't
Bayyinah,
let this forget.
I don't know. I have to justify. To be honest with you, you know, and you've taught us a lot, Professor James Small, that we are reincarnation of each and every of our ancestors. They can even multiply in some of us.
Exactly.
Like Professor Baina, you know who you are in that in before. Uh, Felicity, you know who you are, but it just in this order space. A lot have said they know who I am. Mama Harriet Tubman, they put me all in Gwynzinga and put it into depending on the responsibilities and the job that we're doing that actually fit into the person that was, that is now, and that shall continue to be. If I looked at Julius Malema, I see his emperor. And coincidentally, you were telling me, yes, I mean, that's the same. He made a speech yesterday at the launch of the Pan African Institute. And we already started streaming it live, and then we had to suspend it because of this conversation. I will do it later on. But what he said that related, that you could see that's him, and this version he keeps saying it all the time. He keeps like Haiti matters and it's very important. And even when he talked about the capture of the enslaved, and he kept mentioning Haiti, and he talked about the emperor, and why Haiti just, I mean, the whole speech, we're really going to reproduce it again on Pan African Daily, because for me, December, after we do the conversation with giving out, the one last conversation that me and you and probably some other mothers or queens will sit here on the platform is to analyze is the speech, the most important speech that happened yesterday in 2023, and take all the pieces of it as mothers of the continent and listen to what a king or a son is teaching or saying to us. Break it down for the children, for the universe, for the Africans to understand from a mother's perspective, why we are where we are. So over to you. Do you have that kind of a feeling like I just gather all the rappers, we have to give it to EFF?
Yep. From the very first time, it might have been 6, 7 years ago, the first time I heard about EFF, Economic Freedom Fighters. I say, who? Economic Freedom Fighters? Hmm. And then when I went and listened to what they were saying, what the program was, I said, oh, wow. I went back and read the the Imperial Constitution of 1805, Haiti's Imperial Constitution. And then I found, so many of the elements that I'm reading as to the regulations for EFF. Uh, hmm, there's so much in common. Some years back, I did a comparison between the Monday Charter and the Imperial Constitution of Haiti. And there again, wait a minute. Now, there is no way Dessalines, they could almost accuse him of having copied from the Monday Charter of 12/20/21 because of so many things that are said that are so similar, and which also made me understand why our so-called intellectuals in Haiti either ignore or don't understand the imperial constitution because it's not written from a Euro-Christian mindset. It's totally different. You imagine we have a constitution that says we are Haitians are all brothers and sisters under the law, brothers and sisters. When
Wow.
a nation calls the other one brother or sister, it's not because of church or anything. It's because it is constitutional. You Haitian, you're my brother. You Haitian, you're my sister.
Huh.
Is an article that forbids us if you bankrupt, if you fall under bankruptcy, your Haitian citizenship is removed because Haitians cannot become bankrupt.
Hmm.
So the government will help you get yourself back together, then you can regain your citizenship. But as a
Mhm.
bankrupt person, you're not an Haitian. So we had laws that it's about living, it's about being. It's not about laws for laws or profit. It's about existing, the respect that children owe to their parents, the things that are in the Constitution. So when I look at the various constitutions that we have written, free from Euro-Christian imposition mindset, they are easily recognizable and they look so much alike. And that's another thing that when I looked at it, then I see EFF, black and red. When I saw that stadium, they had a meeting celebrating their 10th or something anniversary, and the whole stadium, 10,000 people, all dressed in black and red.
50,000.
I said, whoa, it's. But even the man himself, when I look at uh, my son, sometimes I call him my husband too.
It's our husband,
Yes,
son, brother, all.
right. So I look at the young man and I look at the strength that he speaks from. I look at the determination. It's almost, of course, I did not see this, Aline, but when I look at him, he's taller. He's definitely taller from everything I know about Dessalines. He's definitely taller. But other than that, there's so much. They 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 breathe alike. They vibrate alike. They send out similar frequencies. When their frequency reach you, you you have to.
You have to.
You have
The
to.
energy, the energy when he says something. I was watching, but I was shaking. Like, whoop.
Yes.
Yes.
So from that point on, I said we have to meet this young man. I have to connect because I was looking at certain things that he was handling, that the EFF was doing, the presence of women in the hierarchy, all of that. I look and say, hmm, you know, it has the smell. It has a Desalinian smell.
Mm.
Yes. So, yeah, I can't wait to really get into his speech in Kenya. And it's important for us to follow him. And it's important for us to give ourselves the practice of protecting those we know are putting their lives on the line for us, because that's what he's doing. It's not after something happened, it's before anything. We must get up every morning and put around him the shield of protection. Whatever he may be, we don't have to see him, we don't have to know where he is. We have that power, especially us as mothers, as sisters, as wives. We have that power to protect those who are putting their lives on the line for us. And the same thing we must do, and encourage everyone to do for Captain Traore in Burkina Faso. All of those who stand, we must protect them. Yeah, we don't have drones, we don't have whatever, but we have African mind power. We have African pineal, we have that heavy melanin able to materialize intentions. Use it. Set your intention. Don't get up in a day. It's just a day and you're going from here to there, from here to there. No, 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 no. Set things up and make them happen. But number one, we must protect our people. And you know, Muammar Gaddafi only had women in his security until 2 years before he was assassinated. Fidel Castro, women assuring his security. And it was, well, we know about Dahomey, there was no, it was exclusively the women were in charge of assuring the security of the king. And but it's not just in Dahomey, it's something that has been around in African culture in a long time. So we the mindset is already there. We already know how to protect. So now we have to practice it, set the intention, and put out the word. Right now, I'm going to spend the next 2 minutes protecting so and so and so and so. I'm going to spend my next 2 minutes protecting. And you're not looking for a job, you're not in their country, you're not doing it for any particular reason. That makes you more powerful.
Good. African mind power. You see, that's the key word of a lot of things when you get up in the morning to use your African mind power as an African. That's a difference, Professor, than some an African that just gets up and like thank God I'm alive today. And then the day goes through, and then the next day you wake up without producing something that without bringing some production into the space. Am I correct?
Absolutely. I mean, real production, be careful. You get up in the morning, and most of us, we jump out of bed. First big error. You do not jump out of bed. If you need to get out of bed at 6 a.m. to start your day, then you need to become aware, to become awakened at 5. So you can take care of serious business in your bed. After you start moving, there are too many interferences in what you're doing. You're now running, yeah, I gotta get the child in school by 7:30. I gotta run out. Does the car, did I remember to put gas in the breakfast and the lunch and these are these are actions. These are, they have no real value. You use your mind for creating what others may think is impossible. That's what you do. The other day, I think this fall was a wonderful thing because it was the first time in my life I fell, and it was as if I was out of my body, looking at my body falling. So I saw exactly when my right foot hit that piece of uneven sidewalk, and then my knees bent and my knees hit the ground. Then my elbows tried to defend me, and then my forehead went to the ground. So I was very, very conscious of every step of the fall. It was something of a few seconds, but I saw everything as if I was looking at it. And then when I was on the ground, I'm not sure, I felt kind of faint. I was alone, felt kind of faint. And then I started my breathing. Said, the first strength is the breath. So let's go, girl. And I start breathing, breathing, breathing. Then I felt strong enough to sit on the ground. And then did some more exercises and then pull myself up and walk home the few steps that were I was just a few steps away from the house. And the whole time I'm walking home, I'm very much aware here is hurting, that is this and that. But the wonderful thing about it to me was the consciousness. I was able to be so clear on how my consciousness of everything that was going on. And also, I learned from that experience how much consciousness have to do with memory and why they use so much fear to harass us. Because when you're afraid, you can't be conscious. When you're afraid, you can't remember.
Mm, yes.
Okay? So
Mm,
that brought me a very personal experience. It was like a course. Hey, girl, you need to understand consciousness better. Here, you're going to fall and we're going to show you what it's like. I thought it was wonderful, you know? And and also now I'm learning to do a lot of things. I'm learning to dictate to my computer because with one hand, I can't do much writing.
show us, show us that other hand. Bring it, Professor Bayyinah. You see? Oh,
So, you know, but uh, the thing is, the more we concentrate on the collective, the more we can put things into perspective.
agreed.
You know, if we were the type of person who's, well, oh my goodness, look what happened to me, and I'm just about to do this, and I needed to do that, and now, I'm sure I wouldn't be talking to you. Just send you a note and say, we can't do this because now I have a boo boo. So You know, no, we have things to do. Some of our people in so many of our countries are being chased out of their homes, being shot at, having their homes burnt, seeing their entire families destroyed in the Congo, in Haiti, in Nigeria, being kidnapped. All kinds of havoc is being put on us. So we don't stay conscious. And all of our power is to keep the calm, to be conscious about what's happening. When something is happening, don't start running and screaming. Look at it, observe it, be conscious of it, draw the best lessons. And that way, your memory will pick up everything. And when you need it, the memory will bring it back to you so you can analyze it.
It's a whole lot of everything said.
Yes, the world is a big school. The universe is a huge school. Every experience has lessons. But if we're boo-hooing, we can't learn the lesson. We'll miss out on the lesson. The other thing I observe with this experience is hospitals and medical centers and whatnot. It's funny. I describe how I felt. I thought doctors and other folks would say, "Oh, let's look at your forehead. You didn't get anything there? Let's look at that." No, 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 no. Where does it hurt? Here? Okay, we're going to do this. Very limited. They didn't look at the whole person. But I'm looking at the whole person and I'm seeing other things. But it's a good thing. I do know certain ways of helping myself. But I can imagine someone who has no knowledge, because you see, everything is in balance in the body. And when one part goes off balance, it creates other off. It upsets other parts. So we have to pay very close attention to ourselves when anything happens to us so we can take care of our business, not just trust that doctors and others will take care of us. That's not the reality.
Consciousness is the number one thing that we cannot escape from it, Professor Bayyinah. Consciousness of just even what happens, consciousness of, it says everything.
Yes, but we do live without it, though. We are
Mhm.
conditioned not to think. We are conditioned to be totally unaware of things going on all around. Why do you think most of us don't even know we are still in full fledged slavery? Because we're not conscious. We recite whatever people say. Why do you think we actually thought, or many of us for a long time, that this thing that these people were saying about elections and democracy and blah, 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 and blah, 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 we swallowed it all because we did not apply our consciousness to analyze what they were saying.
Mhm.
Me, I had a simple reaction. When they start talking about all this democracy, democracy, I said, how could people who created worldwide kidnapping of others and enslaving others and pillaging others, how could they talk of democracy? What would they know about it? How could such people know about God or love or peace? No, they don't. And every time we swallow their lessons or philosophy of Plato, I don't know what, we swallow the stuff because we have been put into such level of fear, we're unable to be conscious. Okay? That's why you have situations, somebody walk into someone's house and they do all kinds of wrong. And when this person goes away and you ask the victim, what did he look like? Uh, what was the color of his shirt, his pants? Usually people are they have a lot of difficulties being able to tell you.
Absolutely.
Sometimes we think it's because they are afraid, so they don't want to say, but it's not. It's
They didn't realize.
the consciousness was not there because the fear overpowered all the different parts. And that's why they use fear so much to frighten us. You know, why they put out hungry, young gun men and women today to go into villages and chase people out of their homes. What does it makes no sense? It might be a boy that you used to help who's now coming into your house with a gun and telling you to get out. Okay? It's the fear that makes us run. It's the fear that makes us line up to pay $1,000 for a visa. It's a fear that makes us pay $250 for an appointment for a visa. The appointment to go, ask. You pay $200, $300, $500 for it. Come on. No one in their right mind would do it.
Hmm. So all of this, we're celebrating. We're still on the 265th celebration of his emperor, the Selene, and we are trying to analyze the fact that he overcame this instrument of keeping us apart. He, like, in that personality, what are the things that he actually did to overcome and be able to liberate and to stand for truth and for what he think was right. um exactly, I'll go back to Juju. We call him Juju. um Honorable Malema, he said yesterday, I'm not afraid. There's no court that would impeach me and or that would incarcerate me. And then he turned and told the crowd that even Professor PLO Lumumba sitting here, there is no court that would impeach him or do anything to him. Then he said, you know why? Because truth, you can never kill truth. So I want to come back to you in this celebration and in this personality of this person that we're talking about, his reincarnation and the past and this authority is like. Truth is that one thing that beats every fear. I mean, we talk about love, that love conquers everything, but truth, how would you put that, Professor?
Mhm. Well, first of all, since you mentioned love and truth, let's look. Let me tell you what we often don't realize. There cannot be any love without truth. Okay, we have this la di da love stuff that does
Yes.
not exist. But if we're talking about love, it has to be based on knowledge and truth. So now, truth. What is truth? Each one of us exist. I'm looking at this woman, in your program. Uh, she is known as Bayyinah Bello. But I have known her for 75 years. I knew her when she had a 10-year-old face, and that was true. And I knew her when she was 22. That face too was true. And I knew her when she was 45. And now she's 75. So the truth about the face of this person that I'm looking at is that all of these people are still there. The 5-year old, the 10-year old, the 45-year old. It's not that they did not die, they are there. But the face has matured with the knowledge and the experience. So it's presented differently. But truth, it hasn't changed. The things that I like, with all that I talk about and I teach, we eat the right thing and I make the effort and I do. And every once in a while, I just want some ice cream. And I know it's not the best thing for me. But I realize the 18-year-old Bayyinah, she loves ice cream. And she's still there and she does want some ice cream. So I give it to her. But I'm not going to accept that Bayyinah is eating ice cream 3 times a day. You see? So the truth is what? The truth is information that is adapted to time and space and circumstances. What are you doing now? What is your truth? You say you're a soldier. You say you're fighting for freedom. What kind of behavior is demanded of a soldier fighting for freedom? Okay, truth. Now, tomorrow, you're retired. You're no longer fighting. But you must never forget that once you fight, you're always a fighter. And that's one of the reasons I admire Empress Felicite so much. When they moved into creating the new capital city of Haiti, which is now called Dessalines, she made her house 2 houses, 2 streets down from his house. She made 2 houses. And people were like, what's going on? What's the matter? You guys not getting along? No, I love my husband. But my husband has to fight to protect the freedom that he has brought to us. So his house has to be an arsenal. That's the Dessalines truth. Dessalines can't be nowhere without a gun, without weapons. Because of who he is and what he has accomplished, he must always be ready to defend. Me, my truth is justice, education, health. Health, justice, education. So in my house, there's no need for weapons whatsoever. I need roots and leaves and books and pencils. And that's what her house is set up for. So her truth and his truth, they have agreed to be a couple, but they have not agreed for one to turn the other into something else. Dessalines would never tell his wife, you've got to have a gun, or there's this going on. You have to have. No, she does not deal with weapons. Her weapon is her mind, her softness, her ability to speak and convince. That's her weapon. His weapon, knife, whatever. That's his thing. And she would never tell him, don't use your weapon. Because that's part of his truth. So when we know someone, when we understand who somebody is, you imagine that I would be involved with a man who would say, oh, Bayyinah, you must not talk about history. If you love me, don't talk about history. So those are the type of thing of, this is somebody who, when somebody would say something like that to you, this person has not seen who you are. And you need to put a lot of distance between this person and you. There isn't very much we could do together. We could do together, I am different from you, yes. But I know who you are. And I accept you for who you are. But if I want to transform you into something else, we're on a way to slavery. Dominators, colonizers, enslavers, they want everybody to do their way. But real people, we get to know each other, respect each other, and I know you are, whoever you are, what you're doing, I have to support you, even if I'm not a inside what you're doing, and you will support me. But we're not about transforming each other. Or if you love me, you have to be this way, you have to dress that way. No, I am me. I have my truth to uphold and assume. If you look at all these structures, these government structures that are established from a domineering Euro Christian enslaving mind, they all impose. Remember, Michelle Obama had a lot of problem when she first became first lady because a first lady don't wear printed dresses. A first lady don't wear sleeveless. She's listen. This woman, I was wearing this before I became first lady, and I will be wearing it after. First lady is for 4 years, so later for you. Yes, she assumed who she was. I'm sure she gave in into certain things, but she didn't allow them to just crush her and make a new person.
Professor Bayyinah, I don't think she ever, because I don't know, for all of you, just watch the interview. I'm talking to the audience. If you really want to get to understand the point where Professor is talking about, when I watched this documentary that she did, the light that we all carry. I mean, in her book, but if just to get it short, watch the interview that she did in Atlanta with Oprah Winfrey, and she's never changed. She said exactly this. She said exactly this.
Good for her. Good for her. And you know what we have to understand? Even if she only objected to the dressing code, that means that this woman went against 200 years of established domination. Okay? And just this one thing. So we have to learn from when we listen to one of ours taking a stand on whatever, for whatever reason, try to figure, go a little deeper. Why? And against what she's standing here. Okay? When you make a move against the church, you're going against 2,000 years of imposition. So everywhere, whatever you, when you getting into a fight, know who is across from you well and know how long they've been at it. So you don't make, you will diminish your chances of mistakes when you know your opposite, your opponent, your adversary, when you know it well, especially how long they've been at it. So we're
One of
gonna,
the things that Julia said yesterday, um,
are we gonna see a little bit of it?
honestly, we're gonna see it. If I play it here, we would this conversation would end. I want us to digest the conversation, and then later on, when we
Okay.
stream it live, then we
Yeah.
will relate a lot.
Okay.
So, like one of the things that he said was relating, like empathy. I mean, you've talked about truth, but relating to be able to empathize. He said he is truly against, I mean, the Israeli Palestinian crisis that is going on, and
Mhm.
he can relate with the Palestinians when he sees what is going on the ground, because at the age of 6, it's the same, those images that he's seen, women being incarcerated, children their children turn off from them and stuff like that. It's the same thing that happened to her mother when he was 6.
Yeah.
So he said that on that point, and then went ahead to say he can relate to slavery.
Mhm.
So it's not just only on the question of that, but he relates this attitude of taking away a mother from him at the age of 6.
Mm-hmm.
That's how he became already revolutionized for justice, for what
Mm-hmm.
is not right. And it's difficult to stop that truth. So I want to get back to the point where you talk about, knowing your adversary. But it even much, much better, particularly frontline leaders, if they can relate to a situation, so they can understand better. Like now, I think most of his conversations is actually including the enslaved, the diaspora. Like he kept talking about Emperor Desalegn, and he could relate why he has to come up to be that kind of a person of truth and to liberate.
Yes.
Does it make sense when you empathize
Mm-hmm.
because you've been through there? You can
Mm-hmm.
better understand. And in leadership, people who never have some kind of experiences, like there was an issue like parenting, and now you go to a consultant or you go to a counselor, for instance,
Mm-hmm.
or you have been they put just a young non-married non-parent as a counselor in an authorization that has to do with parenting and children and youth and stuff like that. Like,
Mm-hmm.
how do you relate?
Well, if we understand our culture well, the global culture, not the details, right? In our culture, the family is the first structure of the nation, and the family is the first government of the nation. In the family, we each have tasks, and in the family, we each are duty bound to be just to each other. When you grow up from this family and you into now we're dealing with the clan or we're dealing with the tribe or we're dealing with the nation, it's still the basis, whatever basis was established in the family. That's what will rule at whatever level that you go up to. Every day I say in IT, our men are not raised to be part of government. Why? Girl at 3 and 4, she has task. At 7, 8, she's taking care of the hair of the other children. Like today, my daughter fixed my hair because with
So
one hand you
beautiful.
can't do that. Thank you. So uh, everything you do, the girls have so many tasks to take care of
Mhm.
within the family. The auntie is not well, send the girl to feed her. The uncle has this problem, send one of the girls to do this, to do that. The boys less often. In our case, in certain level of our society, the boys nothing. They go to school, they take care of their business, then they play football, then they watch TV, then they read the newspaper, and then at 40, they say, I need to be a senator. If you ask them, how about Auntie so and so? Auntie what? Well, so and so is not well. Da, da. Well, send one of the girls. The girls have been practicing running the family government all the time. Some men
Absolutely.
cannot even tell you where their children, what is the school of their children. That's woman business. Where the children go to school, who picks them up, what time they're this, what time. That's woman stuff. Okay. Now you've never done anything for anybody but yourself. And then today, you're the head of state. And you say, we, the people, blah, 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 the people, this, the people. Do you know the people, even the people in your house? You don't know the need of the people in your own house. How can you talk about the people of the nation? So justice has to be lived on a daily basis. When correcting our children, we must say to the child, two children fighting for a toy, say, ah, I live this in house island in Kano. They would say two girls fighting for a toy, and the mother would say, hey, if you girls can't even, if you're fighting over the toy, what are you going to do when you have the same husband? That's the way they saw it in those days, right? And but more important to me, the lesson was justice have to be taught at the same rate, at the same place. If you're fighting for candy or fighting for food or fighting for what, let's be just. There is enough for two of us. There is enough for three of us. Let's split it this way because we have to be fair. Everyone is entitled to. We don't do this anymore. We don't talk to our children about justice, about empathy, about truth. These we have to be raised with. And then when we reach a point where we're dealing with large groups, we can handle it better. But if not, there's no way. You cannot know justice when I'm the favorite child. I was sent to school. I've never lacked anything. I had three pair of shoes when my other brothers and sisters only had one or didn't have any because my mother means that she invested everything in me. She knew this was the girl that was going to get her out of here. So my three or four other sisters didn't have nothing. If that's the case, tomorrow you put me as minister of justice or minister of education or whatever. Hey, there is no way I can do what is correct for millions of people when I was not even trained to do it for three and four.
Hmm.
So to me, people who have hard experiences, like in the case of Julius Mulema, having his mother taken away from him, life took care of teaching him a number of things. See, sometimes you have to be down, you have to be hurt in order to understand certain things if there wasn't a structure to teach you in other ways. See, we're looking at kings and princesses of Europe. And what we always see is, all the fine clothing and the fine jewelry and the this and the that. But people like me saying, I wonder where they got that diamond from. I wonder where they got this particular thing. I know your country don't have it. So if your queen and whatever is wearing it, you took it someplace. It's like that huge diamond on the British crown. They killed a 9-year-old Indian prince to steal it and put it on that crown. So I can't look at them with any kind of admiration because whatever I see, I know enough history to say, where did they get that one from? That's number one. Number two, so then there's a whole structure of stealing things from others and bringing, and then we walk around acting, That's the model that they've given to our presidents. That's the model that they gave independence structures. Grab it, take it, flaunt it, it's yours. But it has nothing to do with justice. It has nothing to do with fairness. It has nothing to do with everyone has the right to eat. We do not go back and look at in our various African languages, many of them don't even have a word for poverty. They had to take it from a foreign language, whatever colonizing language that came in. That's when we have poor, poverty, and all this, because our structures were not set up for people to be that way. Okay? So those are the truths we need to know so we can do better when we're handling government. Government cannot be based on the Euro-Christian system. That is the most corrupt system in the world. That is the most vile system in the world. We cannot copy that and think we're going to bring our people to progress. Progress has to be based on knowledge of self, respect for each other, and the primordiality of the collective. The collective is first. If I can have this advantage, and this advantage means my people will not have, then I don't need that advantage. That's justice. So not
I
only must,
relate.
sorry,
No,
not
go ahead.
not only must we pay attention of all the garbage, you Christian garbage in our heads, we have to do a clean up job. And then we will have space for knowledge and truth to be part of our lives.
Somebody posted a question. It's an abstract question regarding the economic freedom. I mean, it was just an abstract question like,
Mhm.
what is the essence of Africans looking for money without knowledge? Like, what is the essence, not just Africans generally, to look for money when you don't have the knowledge of self? And I found this so profound.
Mm, certainly. We say thank you for that question. That's right. Without the knowledge of self, it's very simple. You, without a knowledge of self, you can be the slave. An ant can take you over and make you its slave because you don't know who you are. Anything can make of you its slave. In order to be, you have to know who you are, or at least you have to be striving to come to know. You must be aware you're not yourself. I can't be proud and fussing, oh, I have a Gucci bag or a so and so shoe or something dress. If that's what I'm doing, obviously Bayyinah, I don't know who she is. Okay. But if I am bragging about mangoes in my country, tastes better than mango anywhere else. All right. Sister Tatah could say, oh no, they mangoes in Cameroon are much better than mangoes in Haiti. And we might get to the point where I say, well, I've tasted both. Have you tasted mango from Haiti yet? That's where knowledge comes in. I tasted mangoes on both sides, and I say, so what I'm saying has a little bit more value. A little. It still has prejudice. I'm still partial. But it does have a little value because I tasted both. But if both of us tasted both sides, and then we can get into specifics. Well, what is it that you feel that your mango has that my mango doesn't have? The texture, the taste, the juice, the this, the that, the that. We can get into a real conversation about mango if we have the knowledge. But if we're just saying mine is better than yours, both of us are just talking nonsense. There is no knowledge there. Or just because it's my taste, I prefer this. Then, okay, fine. You can prefer whatever you want, and I can prefer whatever I want. So there's no need for a discussion or an argument there. Okay? So without the knowledge of self, actually, everything you think you know, is poison. Because until you know who you are, then knowledge begins to have value based on who you are.
Absolute.
Okay.
Mm.
Example. Bayyinah looking in the mirror and she said, oh, Bayyinah, oh my goodness. Oh, my hair is all white. I need to, change my hair color. My eyes is too this. My mouth is too thick. My nose is too wide. Bayyinah has all these problems with her facial appearance. So, Bayyinah, how would you see yourself as beautiful or pretty? Well, I could be a lot lighter, and then a smaller nose, and then a this and a that. Hmm, Bayyinah is totally off because she has no knowledge of self whatsoever. And she is taking whatever she saw in some magazine as beautiful and whoever she is as ugly. That's Bayyinah's fundamental problem. And until she can look at herself and say, yeah, I'm a gorgeous 75-year-old woman. Yeah, I like this woman. You know, each one of these here, a lot of worries brought them that white. A lot of thinking, a lot of analyzing. Experience brought me there. Yes. But if I don't accept myself, I don't know myself. I'm wishing to be something I can, it's like a fish who wants to be a bird. The only ultimate to every effort that this fish will make in its effort to become a bird will bring it to quick disintegration. There's no possibility of life for a fish as a bird.
It's not.
Just be yourself.
No matter how boat can even live on, like no matter how a crocodile would stay in water, it never would become a fish. So
All right. So that's what we need to do. We need to know ourselves. Once we know ourselves, you know yourself, the more you get to know yourself, you'll come to know your forces. The more you increase it some more, learn yourself more, you come to know your power. And when you go even deeper and higher in the knowledge of self, you come to know your puissance. That's where you touch your divinity. You think it and you make it happen. You can. You have that in you. If you practice, you can materialize whatever you want in this world, on this planet, of which we, the children of Africa, are the guardians. The protection of the planet is our duty.
mm,
We,
hmm
the guardians. And that's one of the things Dessalines understood well. When Dessalines first became ruler of Haiti, the first decision he took was to put the army to protect the mountain tops, the rivers, and the seashores. That's the first thing. He didn't put people around the palace to protect him. He put it to protect mountains, rivers, seashores. When King Henry became king of Haiti, he built a fleet of over 400 boats and so many different places I read that colonizers were saying that he had a security so tight of the 1500 coastline of Haiti that even a cockroach couldn't enter without him knowing it.
Oh, okay.
Today,
Praise
anybody
Mama
in the
Bello.
country. Yes, ma'am. Yep. So security, economy comes naturally from who you are. It's not about the recipe from somebody else. We have to make sure we know who ourselves, who we are. That's how we will generally become prosperous. It's First, by being self. You know the type of things that work well for the collective, the Ubuntu mentality we must develop.
It's so deep and so profound, Professor Baina, when you say we are the custodians, like we are the protector of the planet. So if we truly understand who we are, so we know our responsibility, it's only just about humanity. And the Ubuntu-ness goes beyond just us in the space of us being Africans, but actually taking care of other beings on the
Absolutely.
planet. Is this true? Yes.
Absolutely. You know, the Ethiopian army, among all the many wonderful things that the Ethiopian people uh, developed, the Ethiopian army had lions and tigers as members of the army. So you had such a wide concept of what is human, the humanness of things, that you developed the ability to communicate to other animals to such a degree that they can be part of the organization of the nation. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about magic. We're talking about knowledge. We're talking about science. Okay? So when you know yourself, okay, some of you go to have somebody read for you, right? You're either a palm reader, a card reader, or water reader, or whatever. You go to somebody for a reading. The person will ask you what date, your date of birth. Why? And in some systems, they might say you are a ram, you are a Taurus, you are a whatever. Why? They are reading the signs in the sky in order to determine what who you are and where you're going in this lifetime. So it is showing you how your existence is not limited to this little body here.
Mhm.
As Bayyinah, I must know, oh, it's a now I don't need to go look anymore. I just in my body, I will know this is a full moon. Oh, the full moon is approaching. During an eclipse one time, I did this experiment. I measured my breasts at the beginning of the eclipse, measured it at the peak, and measured it at the end. And I could see how lunar eclipse affect our body to such a degree that my size would change by an inch, a little bit more than an inch during an eclipse, and then went back to what it was after the eclipse. So I'm not just here. As I stand here in this planet, as I participate in this program, I am part of the cosmos. But if we're viewing ourselves as just this little body, we're reducing ourselves to a very tiny expression and we're limiting our possibilities. And on top of it, if we're living in fear, that's why I said even an ant could occupy us, enslave us, because the ant has tremendous knowledge of who it is. And me, if I have none, the ant can easily occupy me. Whereas, as a human, as a child of Africa, the entire cosmos live in you, and you live in the cosmos. Read up on your Dogon philosophy. Read up on your Bambara Pearl philosophy. See how the Bambaras conceived life as a normal human life was 126 years. Nobody was considered old before 126.
That's true.
So if we don't know who we are, and who we are is not limited in space and time. Yes, I'm born in Haiti. Yes, I have a lot of attachment to the island of Haiti because of Haiti's history, because of what the accomplishment of my ancestors, women and men. But I'm not limited to that. I'm just as attached to Africa, to all the parts of Africa. I'm just as proud when I talk of Ethiopia or Mali or any place in Africa, because all of that is still me. Because we are more than blood, skin, and flesh and bones. We are vibrations, we are frequencies. We make the world turn. The Arawak in Haiti had a practice to clap for the sun every time the sunlight appears. And they had different dances and songs that they did until the sunlight was visible. And then they would clap for the sun and say, "Oh, you've done a good job showing up this morning. We clap for you. Bravo, bravo." But they viewed themselves as co-creator of this light. They didn't see themselves as, just happen to look at it. Oh, wow. No, we make it happen. We can make it rain. We can make the rain stop. It's not about magic. It's ordinary cultural science. We know. So when you know yourself, you can reclaim
I think she's freezing. I don't want to believe it. I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting that she's gonna come back. I think connection or something like that. But everything that Professor Bayyinah is, I'm just like, I'm just like glowing because I experienced all this in the village when we went out like little girls in the moonlight, and we dance in the moonlight. We listen to some of these things in songs here, but I experienced it. That's why I don't know how on earth, we can go back to the space to relate and to connect. We did. We spoke like the moonlight dance was dancing with the moon, like we I don't know what, I don't know how to really put it in this space right now. It's magic. Too much magic that it's unexplainable until you grew up in the village. And honestly, now it's making a lot of sense because at that time, we were just existing. Things that young girls and young boys would do in the moonlight. That was when most fell in love with each other. It was not like going in a space where we needed light. And that's why it's always like Africa is black. Like we did basically everything in the moonlight, in the darkness. So good. Professor, you're back. Mhm.
yes. Mhm. A little light went off a little bit. So, yes, you have your power. Know yourself, and you'll start tapping into your own power. You cannot, if Sister Tata's army is fighting against my army, and Sister Tata taught my army how to fight. They went to Sister Tata's country and learned how to fight. Who do you think of the two of us will win this battle? Sister Tata will beat me anyway, because my people have nothing that they know that they did not learn from her. And her people are never going to train my people to be superior to them. Let's be for real. If I'm training you, I'm going to teach you some of what I know. I can't teach you all of what I know. So every time you and I have an exchange, I will have the upper hand. That's the way it is. So this business of saying that our army was trained by so and so, we are independent, but our army was totally trained by, at the very least. And there again, we have King Henry gave us an example. When he wanted to create the Haitian money currency, everybody was saying, oh, you can send to France or England or Italy, they could make the money for us. King Henry says, do they have 2 heads or 8 arms or something in those countries? Well, if they have 1 head like me, they have 2 arms just like us. I don't see why we should ask them to make our money. So in the end, says, okay, fine. He bought materials from 2 different countries. And he said they said that 40 people was necessary to start it. He sent 40 people in 5 different countries to go learn how to make money. And then they came back. He took the best of everywhere, of each group, and they then created the gourd, the Haitian coin in gold and silver. We minted our own gold, our own silver coin, 1800. And within less than 7 years, Haiti's coin was classified as the second most perfect coin in the world. Why? He didn't just say, go to one country and no. He went to 5 different competitors. So learn different elements, different ways of doing, and then made up his own. That's how come he could be in the competition. So we could think that way in the 1800, and then today in 2023, we're just so proud. I have my degree from blah, blah, blah. I have my degree from this one, from that one. Come on. We can do better. Got to know self. Got to know self and bet on self. Yes. So, yes, there'll be a celebration. I'm inviting you for November 17th. We'll be sending out the invites. We will be giving away all the wonderful things we have received, dolls and books and uh, paintings and uh, videos. We received quite a few things, and we'll give it all away. We'll have a raffle, and we'll be, insisting, persisting in celebrating the liberator, founder of Haiti, Emperor Jacques. If you want to refer to him as general, then it's General Jean-Jacques Dessalines. That's his name as general. But once he became an emperor, he became Emperor Jacques. Actually, his letterhead says Jacques, Emperor first of Haiti, Empire of Freedom. That's what his letterhead reads. Jacques, Emperor First of Haiti, Empire of Freedom.
Where did Toussaint came from?
Toussaint is most likely from Dahomey, Alada in more particular. From what our research has shown, they like to say that he was born in Saint Domingue in the colony, but my research has shown that he was first he was born in Alada, and he was about 9 years old when his father entrusted him to a so-called French friend to have the child traveled around the world for 1 year, visit different areas of the world, and bring the child back. And for him, that would give his son a greater, more assets than the others who are being trained to be part of government in the future. And but the son never came back. The man took all the money for 1 year of care and sold the child into slavery.
Hmm.
And that's how Toussaint ended up in the colony of Saint Domingue. And but he rose, whoever you are, that's know you who you are. Toussaint, the one thing he would say all the time. In many of our books, they say my father, that his father was, but actually he says his grandfather was Gauginu of Dahomey. He would always talk about that. He was always with the Dahomean women who were assuring the security of the Cambiasu. He learned a lot from them. He spoke Dahomey, some Dahomean language. I'm not sure if it was Fangbe or whatever it was that he spoke. He spoke several of the Dahomean languages. So he had a great knowledge of self. And then he rose in the French army, became a general in the French army, the enslaving French army of Saint-Domingue, entered the political realm, and became governor for life of the entire island for France. Some people have a certain attitude about, but I have to look at the accomplishment of somebody who rose from being chained and seen as a non-entity in the world, and then rise and find the ways. He spoke 7 or 8 languages. He spoke Spanish, spoke English, he spoke French, he spoke Haitian, some African languages. Brilliant men. And became governor for life of the entire island. The only French governor who ruled the entire island. All the French people that they will tell you as governor of the island only ruled for a part of the island. Toussaint ruled the entire island. Okay. So a brilliant man. But of course, Napoleon and all of them were absolutely furious. They tried everything to destroy him, poison, etc., etc. And in the end, he was kidnapped. That's their specialty. Whether kidnapping from Africa to America or kidnapping from America to France, kidnapping nonetheless. He was kidnapped, locked up in Fort de Joux, with no wood to warm up the place where he was, where he was locked. And I've gone a couple times to visit Fort de Joux. Since then, the same French who kidnapped him, killed him, buried him somewhere you don't even know where exactly he's buried, unmarked grave and all of this. Tortured him in many ways, tortured his wife, arrested even his 9-year-old child, Saint Jean, put everybody in jail. Cousins, nephews, everybody they could put their hands on. That's democracy, I suppose. And so in the end, the French, when today you go visit Fort de Joux, the French shows you an apartment that they gave to Toussaint Louverture. Boy, they are liars. There is no way. The men had a 2x4 in the cold, cabinets, beds. Oh, please. Goodness gracious. And they're making lots of money with us going to visit this.
Yeah, pay pilgrimage.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. Mhm. But so
Whew,
another great
details.
black man. Toussaint Louverture is
Yeah.
a great black man. There is no reason to, uh, but the only thing he's not the founder of Haiti. He's not the liberator. In nothing that he wrote, you will find anything about our liberation. Everything he did for France. But very possibly, he's a very, he's not somebody who exposes his plans to people. So he could have had a plan that first he does it that way, and then little by little he was going to do, because he already did abolish slavery. Okay? He abolished slavery, so there was no more slavery, but he kept the colony and the contact with France, and he made some rules of his own as to how the relationship would go. Of course, France did not tolerate that kind of a black man taking initiatives, so they killed him. But after that, but mostly they tortured his wife. His wife is the one that really. Uh, Suzanne Simon Louverture was uh, she weighed 425 pounds when she entered the jail, and she weighed 90 pounds when she left. And they had removed every single nail in his fingers and toes. So this woman had really, really suffered. But she never talked. They keep asking him, "Where did your husband say keep the money? Where is this? Where is that?" She says, "I will never respond to the torturers of my husband. I will never speak about my husband to torturers of my husband." She never changed her answer. So these are people of character. We must learn about them, and we can be inspired by them.
17th. What actually is going to, I see some questions in the chat and like people do they need to buy for the rifle or how are they
Yeah,
going, they need to get tickets or
yes, there's going to be, well, the details will be sent. I'm not going to say this, that, or the other, because we're going through whatever we had planned is now being shackled or shaken or whatever. But you will receive information as to how we're going to do it, and it will be done on the 17th, wherever we're going to be able to, we're going to do it. So be prepared. Yes, there will be a fee to participate in um, the raffle, and we will have some. It's a celebration, so we will have some dancing. There'll be some, talking, of course, about the men, and and then every few minutes there'll be more giveaways. Mhm. That would be generally the program.
wonderful. Thank you so much, Professor Bayyinah. Can you just repeat what we're going to do again? A lot of people came in so late, and you talked about the power of sharing as a culture, but then what is actually going to take place
Mhm.
um, on the 17th?
All right. Um, the first thing is that we're continuing to celebrate the liberator, because you have to be a liberator first. You can't found a country if you don't liberate it, right? So the liberator and founder of Haiti, General Jean-Jacques Dessalines. So that will be his 265th Earth Strong year. So we will talk about him, of course. We will discuss, but he has asked specifically that people get something for his birthday. Get those who come and participate. So there will be giveaways in the celebration. To participate in the raffle, there'll be a fee, and I believe there might even be. I wish Claudia was here. But there's auction as well. There'll be because the paintings that we've received are since it's 265th year, they've given us paintings valued at $2,650.
Oh,
Yes. So we have very valuable paintings that will be auctioned off. We also have bag from one of the most famous, if she's not the most famous designer, Haitian designer, Felicia Dell. Her stuff is all over Europe and everywhere. So she has Veve collections. She's given us a bag also. Um, so we have dolls, books, videos, something for everybody. Something for the children, something for the parents, something for those who like to read, for those who want to just look at things on video. We have something for everybody. So we look forward to seeing you then on November 17th.
so how is it gonna be? Is on Zoom where people will have to register or like, you know?
You know what? As soon as I have the last information, I will share them with you. I will share them with everyone. Okay. I do not have the details, the last details, because what we
Okay.
first arranged was being hacked. So we had to rearrange things. So I don't have the last information. So as soon as I have it, I will share it.
17th of December or 17th
Of
of November,
November,
Professor?
next Friday,
So
actually.
it's next
Yeah,
Friday, yes, because
next
like I
Friday.
said, the moment we say it is like it's gonna be like next month, but it's on
Exactly.
Friday, isn't it?
It is next Friday.
And I'm going to be
So
the
that's
co-host,
right.
your
My
co-host,
co-host is right
Professor
here.
Bayyinah.
Yes.
Woo!
Yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you for coming. And to our global audience and the family here, I want to thank all of you. I mean, your support, your commentaries, your knowledge of what you know about Haiti, your comments and feedback is very, very, very and inspiring and empowering. This is actually what we need. And this is the school. This is the university. This is the CHEMIT. This is the Pan African Institute. This is where we learn. I mean, you can quantify the knowledge that Professor has given us here about, knowledge of who we are. You would never find it in any book. I don't know. And so we're very, very grateful, Professor, and we're thanking you all the time. We thank all of us, but um, I think after this, your next year, I mean, even after next year, after Friday, sorry, what does your 2024 program looks like? I think you had told me we have to really get into some practical actions with you, like breathing sessions. You have teach us, I mean, like lectures. You see, Pan African Dailies about live interviews, lectures, conversations. These three things, and we wish to step up to the next level in 2024, 2023, or things from the beginning. I mean, you've been coming here, we've talked, you've everything that you're saying is definitely like, for those that have been following you or us that know you, is actually being, but 2024 was the wish for you to take us to the next level, put all the breathing exercises, um, justice assignments that we need to know. Like a school of mothers, a school where mothers actually are grooming. We're going to have a lot in different sectors, but we want to focus on really getting knowledge and practical things to do. And I want to already inform all of us that that is coming up with Professor Bayyinah in 2024. And so start keeping your school fees together. We are going to get into, yes, we're going to get into the Pan African Daily TV School or CHEMIT of knowledge of who we are, and practical things that are going to change us. I mean, Professor is keep telling us every day she's 75, and look at this queen here. Like she's aging backwards, and of course we do know, like you said, we don't age. I'm very happy Dr. Elaine connected back, and she'll be coming back to the show because that has always been her concept. We don't age. And she told us even in 2022, they had a patient that from Nigeria, and he died in 2019, and he was 146 and still looking great.
Yes,
Fact, not
that's
science, not readable, 2019 fact. So Dr. Elaine is a holistic um, um, doctor, very renowned and very strong earth woman, mother like you, but actually really doesn't have a lot of touch on the continent like you do, but believes in exactly, what you're saying. So 2024, what is your curriculum going to look like? And so that we already start, because we are refurbishing, we're going back into the school of knowledge of who we are in practical terms, not just conversation, but actually lectures.
um, well, actually, we are, 2024, 2024, it'll be January 1st, IT's 220th Independence Day. So, the soup, Independence soup, all of that, that'll be the regular, that number one program. But we want to have we want to figure out a way to have more regular, practical exercising period. Even if it's just 5 minutes a day, we want to structure something where our people become more and more aware that there are things that you must do every day for yourself, and that whatever you plan for the job, for the family, for the community, for whatever, but you've got to make the plan for yourself. And that is, what our focus will be in 2024, is creating those little spots where we can come together for 5 minutes or 2 minutes or whatever it is to practice such and such thing, that to exercise together, and that way you can continue the practice on a daily basis. That's and then there are a couple of books that should be coming out. We have a couple of books we're finishing, so we should have a couple of books being published in 2024, and continue to walk at least 10,000 steps a day. Increase it to 15.
Exactly. That's just what I wanted to say. Like, how come you don't talk about? And now a lot of people are coming back at me. Dr. Tatah, she's been writing a lot of books. Bayyinah Bello has so many books, and how come you never say something about it? I said, because when Professor is here, we talk about every other thing. Professor Bayyinah, you've been writing books, of course. Where can they get these books?
Well, right now the only accessible thing is through. Hey, all right. There's
Hey,
a gentleman jumping into the program.
please. We
See
can
you.
see his face.
I'm
Oh
here.
my God, we just seen only something halfway in his
Hold it.
afro.
Here.
Oh,
What's your name?
I'm here.
Amir Desaline
Abdul Salam.
Bello Abdul Salam. Yes,
hello, Methuselah.
that's number 10. Grandson.
Oh, number 10, Granny.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So,
Number 10.
yeah.
Professor Baina, say it again. A lot of people are like, oh, she looks like in her number 10th grandchild.
Mm-hmm. Yes, number 10th grandchild, and we also have 4 great grandchildren. So 3 or 4 of my grandchildren are adults. 2 of them are married, and they gave us 4 great grandchildren.
Okay.
So, yes.
I don't know who is going to beat this record. We we're gonna put ourselves to the challenge.
All right. Well, it's normal. It's normal. We come on this earth. One of the engagement as humans is to guarantee the continuation of the species. So, in the African framework mindset, we all are duty bound to at least reproduce one or 10 or 20 or 40, but we must reproduce to guarantee the continuation of the species. So that's an important thing for for us. So we're blessed to have 4 children, 10 grandchildren, and 4 great grandchildren.
Power. Thank you so much, our queen. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Bayete, bayete, bayete. We clap,
Bravo, baby.
clapping, 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 clapping.
I
Thank
can't clap
you.
with 2 hands, but I clap this
Please
way.
do
All
do
right.
that,
Take
do
great
that.
care.
Thank you so very much, Professor Bayyinah. We're going to be with you on the 17th, on Friday,
Ye-
exactly 1 week
Yes,
today, and to
exactly.
share the
On this
gift.
Friday.
Thank you so much. Bye
Thank
bye.
Take great
Peace
care.
and blessings,
Peace
Professor.
and
Good
blessings.
night.
Good
Yes,
night, ma'am.
good night. So, good night also to us all from the Pan African Daily. I want to thank you for joining. Tomorrow, watch out. We're also going to have a big, big professor with so much knowledge, so much power, and actually the liberators in different aspects. And he's no other person than Professor Dr. Kaba Hawaita Kameni. We all know him. I thought that I had the flyer already here to share, but I think from what I see, it's not yet there. But I'm going to share it early in the morning tomorrow. So Professor Kaba Kameni is going to be with us tomorrow, unfailingly. And then on Tuesday, I guess we might, or on Thursday, we're going to have King Bongane the Third, and he's been going around and actually doing some plenty good things. That's why we couldn't have him in the last years, but he's coming back on Thursday. On Tuesday, we're gonna have a guest as well, and Wednesday. So next week is full program as well. But please, we are going to stream the speech of the year from Honorable Julius Malema at the official launch of Pan Africa Institute yesterday in Kenya. And the Pan African Institute is actually the baby of Professor PLO Lumumba. And he said, we have been saying on the Pan African Daily, this is a Kemet University, and he is starting. And this Pan African Institute, from what I see and what I know, and the concept that I have in front of me, is going to be that's just a sample what he has in Kenya, and it's going to be multiplied. And Juju was there and made a lot, declared a lot, spoke truth to power, was very consequential, mature, and to the point. Yes, really to the point. And we're beginning to see that kind of change that is feasible. It's no longer um, the change, the kind of change that we used to talk about. We're just talking, but we're seeing the talking in so much action right now. And I think one of the things that is very interesting from all our hybrids on the Pan African Daily TV is most of the conversations that and the wishes of the Pan Africans and Africans worldwide are being really taken into consideration. But one thing I like with the leadership that we're experiencing on the continent is them actually talking about that one Africa agenda. Politically, before used to just be the continental in the focus, and most of them, um, like the leaders on the continent or the young ones, have never been to the diaspora. They never were confronted with our history, Black history, and until, all these times that we've had incredible professors lecture to us, we have really connected a lot. And that's why we see the ripple effect of everything that we've been talking about on the courses that the Professor James Small, Reverend Matthew Shock, Professor Kava is coming out even with a new curriculum and books for our children. um, it's just marvelous. It's just powerful. Everything that is working in the space of production, like he said, like Professor Bayyinah said, the black power in mind to create, the power of the black minds to create, to produce something that is tangible, something that is seeable, and something that is doable. So that's what we see now, the unity between Honorable Julius Malema moving up to partaking in the official launch, and even making a clear statement how they're going to fund all these Pan-African initiatives that are not business people. We have Pan-African business people or agenda or hustlers, like what we say, but actually the platforms that put the interests of the people first and are liberators and are freedom fighters. I was really delighted by what he said. And he's like, we're going to fund this institute because we know that he that funds you owns you. And so it is time for the EFF to begin to spread its wings, not just spreading in terms of politics or talking, but actually doing the work. He promised support, not just materially, but financially. And that was the point that I said. For the first time, we hear that from an African leader, from an African organization, from a young warrior. It's the first time ever. Because what we know today is all the freedom fighters are broke. They always die poor. And yeah, like we struggling and always begging. But what we see today is something else. We're going to see more coming up. We're going to see more Africans that are able, capable, sophisticatedly, extravagantly rich, even young people on the continent, with this kind of mindset, education, and consciousness that Professor Bayyinah is telling us. We're going to see exactly a lot of Africans that will be coming up to sponsor, being stakeholders of this initiative so that they can breathe, they can maintain the agenda to which it is created. So that actually warmed my heart. And we're talking about economics because that's the point. EFF, economic freedom fighters. So it's not just a political party where we want to get election and get fame and something and that, but walking the talk. Honestly, we were so impressed. And we're going to stream that, the whole entire speech. Actually, some of you watched it live, and a lot of people got back to us and said, this is it. This is it. So, yeah, so our leaders are moving, walking the talk. Even Professor PLO to have launched that initiative in Kenya is something already. It's too much. And yeah, it's a baby that is has to creep, and he has to leave from professors like Professor Bayyinah. And also, so the new format of education curriculum, and like-minded 12-12 movement coming up also from the Queens, led by Professor Bayyinah. We're going to see a lot. We're going to see a lot of that coming up. So I want to thank you. Do not underestimate your participation being here on Pan African Daily. And please do support us using our PayPal. I want to thank some of good-minded you who actually just we are supporting this platform that keeps us every evening connected, and also that brings people of goodwill to teach us. We're not charging any fee here, of course. We're not. It's not because we're not EFF, but of course we do appreciate your generous support. Do it through our PayPal at panafricandailytv@gmail.com. We really appreciate your support to keep us in existence, and also, of course, to have an economic backup. Good. So tomorrow, same time, we're going to have Dr. Professor Kaba Kameni here. I can't wait. That's going to be another charger, another brain. And of course, I bring greetings from Professor James Moore. He's faring well. He's recovering, picking up with his therapy. He told us already we have to be patient with him. Professor Bello is doing well, as you saw it. Joshua Maponga, the king, is doing very well. Is on trips in Uganda, and the others doing a very big movie that is coming up. And all our speakers, our teachers, our lecturers, our conventionals, and everyone is intact for now. So we really just are happy. And yeah, so we see us tomorrow at the same time. We have 4 minutes to go. And I just want to give a shout out to all of you. Thank you for this platform. Thank you too. Make sure you support us. If you can support us, you know people that can support us. All right. And I think Professor Bayyinah is also in many groups and will be coming up. You can support her, contribute to her initiative. She has so much to her foundation, Fondation Félicité. And I think by Friday or in the week, she'll be sharing some more updates and links so that we can, for all of you. But she's in our groups, can get direct contact to her. If you need also to connect with her personally, send us a text on our WhatsApp. All these platforms need support. We all need support. We all need support because we're dislocated and cut off of all financial possibilities that we can have to go live daily. Did I forget something? Okay, and there are a lot of questions of people who want to become. I just, on this rolling text you can find, if you want to become a guest on the Pan African Daily, all inquiries you get through our Gmail or our WhatsApp. So as we look forward, we're full anyway till the end of this year. We're full, and we're talking about 2024. 2024, you can be on the list of our guest speakers or our lecturers. Thank you. Good night to all of us, and we see us. Bayete. Bayete. You are watching the Pan African Daily TV with Dr. Susan Tatah. The Africa we want: unity, consciousness, our culture, our spirituality, our history. One Africa for Africans worldwide. Motherland's calling its diaspora home. Join my voice. Join my team. Join my campaign. Campaign 21 hashtag 1 million subscribers on the Pan African Daily TV YouTube. Be a volunteer. Apply now. Be the new Africa.
SUV ezali pona pomoko mpe ezali bosolo na biso.
No matter where you come from, no matter where you are, no matter what you are, no matter who you are, as long as you're a black man, you're an African, you're my friend. Make we live in unity, make we live as one, make we live in harmony. Our diversity is our strength. Oh, my brother, make we live as one. You are an African, yeah. You are an African. Unite, Africa, yeah, Africa, yeah, Africa, yeah, Unite, Africa, yeah, Africa, yeah, Africa, yeah. Bájọwọ́ la fi ń sọ̀yà, ọwọ́ kan màgbẹ́rù lórí. Ẹ jẹ́ ká ṣe ṣọ̀kan àwa ọmọ Áfíríkà.
Paix, puissance, amour, l'Afrique doit se réunir.
SUP yapania umoja, kwa kuwa umoja ndio uyakinifu. Africa in unity, kwa kuwa tukiwa West Africa, Kenya, Tanzania, Uganda, Rwanda, Burundi, Djibouti, tunasema kwamba umoja wa Afrika ni muhimu. And Africa in unity ni umoja wa Afrika.
Hey, yeah. Mama Africa is inside every one of us. The spirit calls to me the same way it calls to you. Deep down, you know who you are. Never you deny it. Makes you move your feet when you hear me. Makes you nod your head when you listen. It's the rhythm of Africa. It tells you where you are from. Africa, biko gemunti, tikwaka kaimeze Africa. Kani me you maka, oh my yeah. We call you now, SUPC unite. One voice, one Africa. One voice, one Africa. Yeah. You are an African, yeah. You are an African. Remember where you come from. Unite. Africa unite, Africa unite, Africa unite, unite. One voice, one Africa, one voice, one Africa, one voice, one Africa, one Africa, Africa, yeah, Africa, yeah, Africa, yeah. One voice, one Africa, one voice, one Africa, yeah, Africa, yeah, Africa, yeah, Africa, yeah.
Our attention,